What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol NVDA for NVIDIA Corp. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. We talked about it just the other day, and what you'll notice is obviously with the FOMC and Jerome Powell sort of coming out and goosing the marketplace higher, NVIDIA followed right along, right, making a move back higher, big green day here, but more importantly, we're back above this critical area on the chart. Remember that we were talking in depth in yesterday's video about the 287.50. The fact that we were sort of back testing at first in the morning and resisting there was fairly concerning, right? It looked like we could potentially go lower. Obviously, FOMC changed things, but at first, again, it looked like a resistance point on the back test of the breakdown, which would have been a bearish outlook inside of NVIDIA. That's hindsight. That's no longer obviously in play. We have a firm close back inside of this overall range right here, which I want to discuss, right? Because we have a firm close back inside, that essentially puts into play a look below and fail back inside of the range. And technically speaking, the target should be the top end here at 333.50, give or take. Now, don't get me wrong. We have some important horizontal levels to contend with, notably 308, 309-ish area if it's going to be tomorrow, and maybe even a little bit higher, right? Noting the resistance trend line there. But if we can clear that, I do think the top of the range is inbound here inside of NVIDIA. Also note that this is one of the sort of handful of stocks, we call them the big five, that is keeping the general marketplace afloat, especially the NASDAQ stock. So if this does make the move higher, then look for your S&Ps to sort of remain at the all-time highs. If it's going to resist at the trend line, maybe your S&Ps sort of back off a little bit here and don't just, easily move like a knife through warm butter into all-time highs. So that's my sort of take on the daily. From a more nuanced perspective on the 30-minute, very interesting here. You can look at this as a low, higher set of lows. Obviously, we had highs, higher highs, and clearly a new higher high with that FOMC sort of catalyst. We also get extremely nice volume coming in down below to support the move higher instead of, a thin volume, which would make you a little bit more skeptical. Let's take out the Fibonacci's from the low, essentially down here, up to the high, just to get a sense for where healthy pullbacks should take us. The 38.2 is ideally the first area that you want to look at, but based on the daily structure and just sort of remembering the importance of this level here at the 297.50, in my estimation, ideal consolidation happens there, and any breakdowns underneath that, although yes, we do have the 38.2 there, I do think it's about the back test of this at the 287.50. And remember, that is the low end of the range, so that is your line in the sand here inside of NVIDIA. It's also very close to that 61.8, which is the critical Fibonacci number. So let's go ahead and clean that up and talk in terms of scenarios. Ideal bullish consolidation happens here. Any breakouts take us up and higher into that resistance trend line, and from the daily, as we mentioned, this horizontal level here. That's bull flag consolidation and, scenario number one, ideal rainbows and butterflies upside continuation. Scenario number two, that's a little bit more sloppy, and yeah, don't get me wrong, I know we're at 307 as of right now. So if we pull back into the day's range and continue lower than that area here, 297.50, then ultimately look for the move back down to the bottom end. So that would look like this. If we support there, again, that does set up the bounce now that we have more of a definitive move back inside of the overall range after that happens. And if that happens, note that we would have higher lows from the daily, setting up a bullish move. So those are the main areas that I would be paying attention to here inside of NVIDIA as of right now. The increase in volume, the strong move, the overall rally in the broader marketplace would indicate to me that yes, the upside in scenario number one is probably the most likely, looking for healthy flag and continued breakouts higher. We have those upside targets, which we've identified, but we're also prepared if it wants to move lower into about 287.50. If that goes, step aside here inside of NVIDIA and really just let it come down and do its thing. It would need to establish a pattern outside of that range for us to get back involved to the long side. That's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new today, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.